Suzanne here. Welcome to Excel Intuition's Vlookup Examples 1 video. I recommend you download your own copy of this companion workbook so you can try things on your own and examine all the contents. Let's take a look at the definition of the Vlookup function. The Vlookup function is a vertical lookup, meaning it looks for a match to the lookup value argument in the first column of the table array argument, and then when it finds a match, it refers to the column index number given, and in the row where the match is found, it returns the value from the column indicated by the column index number. The range lookup argument is set to false if we want to do an exact match lookup. It's either omitted or set to true if we want to do a range lookup. Now let's take a look at a table array and see what it would look like if we were doing the lookup. So here's the sales tax rates for cities in Monterey County with over 5,000 in population. If the Excel operator is using the lookup value in the Vlookup function for this searching in this table array, it's going to search in the first column. The first column of the table array is where the match is looked for. So it would find a match for the city, and then it would need to be given the column index 2 to return the correct sales tax rate for that city. So let's take a look at where we have this set up. We have a mini report comparing sales tax rates from 2 different Monterey County cities. And our Vlookup function has the lookup value is the value in B7 for this function, and that is the name of a city. The sales tax table array is that same table we just looked at. The column index number given is column 2, and the range lookup argument is false, which means we want an exact match lookup. So if we were using the contents of this function and we were looking at this table array in this worksheet, we'd be taking the value of Castroville and we'd be searching down, is this a match? Is this a match? Is this a match? We wouldn't find a match till we got all the way down to this row with Castroville in it. And only if they were spelled exactly the same with no hidden characters in either one that could make them different would there be a match. If there's a match, then because the column index number was 2, the value in the second column over from the far left column in the table is the value that would be returned as a result of the function if we were doing an exact match lookup. So a really key thing to remember, the lookup value is something you can see on the same worksheet in which you're putting your function. So we should be able to click on that value, and we can. It's in B7. Then we need to know that our table array is set up so that this should be able to be found in the first column of this table array if it exists, if a match exists. If no match exists and we're looking for an exact match, then we should get an error. And then this column index that we give it as the third argument must be a number in relation to the column, the far left column of the table array where we expect to find a match. So that far left column is always going to be column 1, and we count over 1 from there to find the sales tax rate, so that's column 2 in that table. And that's the end of our example using an exact match lookup. Now let's look at a range lookup. The Vlookup example 2, we just have a very small table here. These are poverty level ratings. We have either 0 as the lowest value in the table, or 11.6% as the result from the 2021 census. This was the percent of persons in the U.S. at the poverty level. So we have a mini report over here where we're looking up the persons in poverty percent, the percent of persons in poverty in these different communities in Monterey County, according to the U.S. Census results of 2021. And we want to get a rating for that level. The rating, we just want it to be either below the U.S. persons in poverty percent or greater than or equal to the U.S. persons in poverty percent. So here we want a range match. This table is the poverty level table array. It has 2 rows and 2 columns each. 0 is the lowest possible value, and 11.6% is the percent of persons in the U.S. considered to be at the poverty level as a result of the 2021 census. The way a range match works is Excel takes the lookup value and it compares it to the far left value in the table array, and if it's greater than or equal to that value, it goes on to the next row. If it's greater than or equal to that value, it would go on to the next row if there was one, but if there isn't, it will stop there. So in this case, there's only 2 values. It's either going to be below the U.S. persons in poverty percent or greater than or equal to the U.S. persons in poverty percent. So we can see the Vlookup function in column 1 uses the lookup value of B9, which is the persons in poverty percent for King City, and it checks the table. It's greater than or equal to 0, and it's also greater than or equal to 11.6%. So it would stop here because it can't go any further. And then it would return the value in column 2, which is this text string greater than or equal to U.S. persons in poverty percent. If we go to the second column in our mini report, we're taking this value of 8.1% as the lookup value from C9, and it's greater than or equal to 0, but it's not greater than or equal to 11.6%. So Excel will go back to this row and say, this is my range match, and it'll return the value in column 2, which says below U.S. persons in poverty percent. So you can play around with this on your own and see how the ratings change depending on the percents that come up. Thank you.